Donald Trump's unelected co-president Elon Musk has control over virtually every part of our government as head of the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, which is not a department. And crucially, he can hide everything he is doing from the American public. You see, because Trump has designated his department initiative as presidential records, which is not what departments are, which means he now is able to skirt open records laws, according to the New York Times. And as Elon Musk moves to dismantle programs that serve seniors and school children, working families, not to mention like desperately poor folks across the world, or like literally just today, illegally revoking $80 million appropriated to New York City from FEMA for migrants by just straight up, get this, taking it out of the city's bank account somehow. And doing this, Musk is, while he is profiting from his own government contracts, as congressional Democrats pointed out today in the very first ever DOJ oversight hearing.
I'll ask you, Mr. Talcove, do you know how much money a day Mr. Musk will receive from the federal government for his contracts?
No.
The answer is $8 million a day. Ms. Royal, do you know how much the average person in this country who survives on Social Security, one of our seniors who's worked their entire life, about how much they have to survive on a day?
I do not.
$65 a day. We're not looking into Elon Musk's $8 million a day. This subcommittee, chaired by Marjorie Taylor Greene and the House Republicans, is looking into your grandmother's $65 a day.
Alex Wagner, host of Alex Wagner Tonight, is digging into all of the attacks on federal workers and programs on a great new podcast, Trumpland, with Alex Wagner, and she joins me now. I've been loving the podcast, by the way. It's been fantastic. And one of the things here is just the crazy inversion of secrecy. Like his whole thing is transparent. We're telling you, no one knows anything they're doing, and you've been talking to people on the other end who they don't know what's happening until.
Well, it's like the free speech thing, right?
Yes.
Until it's not about free speech, it's about turning Twitter into a cesspool for right-wing paranoia. Yeah. I will say this. I was outside the Treasury building last week, and the Musk thing, I think, is a real problem for Trump. He is not Donald Trump, and as we know, the Trump glow does not extend to anyone else in his orbit. And Musk is a very easy, I'm not going to say target because I think it's earned. He is a very easy narrative for Democrats, right? Unelected, the Tesla guy is tinkering around with payrolls. He's firing government employees. He's not doing it. It's wanton cruelty. This guy isn't elected. He's giving statements from the Oval Office. Who is this guy? And if I saw the protest in front of the Treasury building, and it was the first time, as one of the attendees told me, it felt not like a protest, but a rally for the left. It felt like, okay, we have figured out who the enemy is here. This is different. This is a new narrative, and we can work with this because all of this is nothing the American public bargained for.
That is so well said. I mean, one of the things that's so wild, too, is that there was a statutorily enshrined set of officials with the job of identifying waste, fraud, and abuse.
Yes.
The inspector generals. We have a chart that shows a fired IGs, the ones that he fired illegally without the requisite notice, identified $183.5 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse.
Yes.
And you interviewed some of these inspectors general.
Yeah, I interviewed one of whom. I think we have a little bit of a clip from him if we have time to play it. Can we play it? Let's play it. Do you have a theory about why you were fired?
I don't have a theory. Nobody's given me a reason. But you could speculate it's because of our independence, that the administration doesn't want to have inspector generals who by statute are independent.
I mean, the point of these guys...
That's the VA, the largest healthcare provider in the country.
Yes, at the VA, right? That's what he does. And these guys are also all lawyers, right? They are not going quietly into this good night. Today, Michael Missel, who's the man I interviewed in there, that IG, he's part of a group of inspectors general who are suing. There's a very clear protocol about how you fire an inspector general, and Trump and his allies did not follow it.
In fact, Lindsey Graham said it was technically illegal.
It is absolutely illegal, and it flies in the face of everything Trump and Musk say they're doing, which is to curb waste, fraud, and abuse.
One of the things that comes across in that Missel interview and in a bunch of the reporting you're doing, which I think has been like incredibly helpful in the texture of this, is because of this lack of transparency and this weird sort of I'm the king feeling to Musk, downstream of it, it has this like Kafka-esque
Yes.
Almost, you're in a totalitarian universe and no one communicates anything. And all of a sudden you lost your job or whatever, and you have no idea what's going on. And there's this one employee you talk to at the Department of Education, right?
Yes.
Tell me what happened to this employee.
So 5 years ago, during the Trump administration, there was a mandated DEI training.
Okay, wait, let's just slow it down.
Just like, first
during
of all,
the Trump administration,
Betsy
because he was
DeVos.
president before.
Betsy DeVos was the Secretary of Education. She was a big booster. You can find clips of her boosting this program. It was a training about DEIA, actually, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. And a bunch of Department of Education employees followed the script, took the training. You know, some of them were go-getters, ambitious. They didn't want to, you know, if it was suggested, enhancement for their job training, they did it. And now, because the DOJ purge is so haphazard and wanton, they're finding the people to fire basically by looking at search terms, keywords. Did you go through a DEI training? You will be fired. It doesn't matter that the people who went to the DEI training did it while Donald Trump was president.
And so they felt like you talked to someone.
Yes. So I talked to someone. Let's just play the audio.
My daily job is not working in DEIA, so I was wondering what was going on and could it be related to that? And my supervisor dug deeper into it and found out that it was related to that due to a 2-day training course I took relative to DEIA.
He took the training
2-day
course.
training course 5 years ago when Betsy DeVos was secretary and Trump was president.
Doesn't work on DEI stuff now, but has been put on administrative leave. No idea whether he's ever going to return back to work because he did what he was told to do under the Trump administration. I mean, it is Orwell. It is Kafka. It makes no sense at all. And I asked Chris Rufo, who's one of the architects of this, on the podcast. And he said, well, I don't know about these individual cases. It's like Elon Musk being asked about the condoms in Gaza, right? Yeah. They will never admit fault. They would never admit that the sort of vetting process here is non-existent and that very serious mistakes are being made.
Well, and I also think that I would say that one interpretation of what they're doing, the most cynical, and one that I think is persuasive in some ways, is they want to eliminate non-white people from positions. They want to eliminate women from prominent positions. Like, it's not just they want to get rid of this program, but they actually want to, like, get rid of people that aren't
but some of them
white
aren't
men.
Some of them are men, some of them are white, some of them are veterans. Right. It is all the things.
Right.
It is
both ideologically malicious and haphazard and sloppy.
And completely sloppy and basically stupid.
Alex Wagner, it was so good to have you here. Seriously, you've been doing phenomenal reporting.
Thank you, my friend.
I've been listening to the podcast every week. Be sure you check it out. It's called Trumpland, and you can scan the QR code on your screen to listen now.